very satisfactory answer, but that's kind of the best I can say. Okay, notice x is approaching infinity, so we are supposed to compare terms that add. Trouble is we have no terms adding. Skip that. We should factor and divide if we can. That ain't gonna work. So we're left with just, well, we can't even check left-right limits because when you're going to infinity, there is no right of infinity. That's Buzz Lightyear to infinity and beyond. You get to the bad joke. Questions? Please.
So would that just be your answer?
No, what they expect you to do is note this. Everyone raise your hand who knows. Raise your hand if you can tell me what will happen to the top as x becomes greater and greater and greater. What happens to the top? Hands up. What happens to the top as x grows and grows and grows? We talked about it today already, Wesley.
It'll go way more to infinity.
Gets really big. How many knew? Point, 2 for Wesley. I've seen students make the following flashcards, so I'm going to use it to illustrate the idea. It seems to really help. It's not mathematical at all, but it just helps if you remember. They'll tell me, oh, the top gets big, like this. Ends up, what happens to the bottom as x approaches, as x is allowed to become more and more positive? What happens to the bottom? What happens to the bottom? Let's go, Nicholas.
It also gets a lot larger.
Also gets very large. How many knew? Point 2 for Nicholas. But because the top is e to a x, and the bottom is x to a power, if you let x just keep growing, like I would say for certain x's, the bottom's going to be bigger than the top. I'd have to use a spreadsheet to find out when it changes, but at some point there'll be a change, and the top will start growing faster, and will forevermore be greater than the bottom, and it will get further and further ahead. So if they were racing, you're thinking like, I want to race to the biggest number I can get to, I want to race to infinity, the top will win. And there's no winning because you never get to infinity, it just gets further and further ahead. So the top is big, the bottom is not so big. Like that. When you have really big over not so big, you're headed towards infinity because the top is growing faster than the bottom. So this limit is infinite. Questions? Please.
There would be no, there would be no
There's no right half horizontal asymptote because x is going to infinity. Sorry, because as x goes to infinity, y goes to infinity. We need to check the left half here. Hold on, we're good. We got 1 minute, 30 seconds maybe. Hands up, please. What happens to the top as x approaches negative infinity? Raise your hand. Come on. What happens to the top as x approaches negative infinity? Here we go. Jessica. How many knew? Don't leave yet. Gets really close to 0. What happens to the bottom as x approaches infinity? Hands up. Michael.
Gets really small.
Actually, because it's a power function, it becomes extremely negative because it's an odd power. So we have like really close to 0 on the top, and we have extremely negative on the bottom, 2 for Michael. When you take close to 0 divided by anything other than close to 0, what do you always get?
close to 0.
Close to 0. So that means we do have a left-hand horizontal asymptote. Good job, you guys. Thank you. You made your part.
Thank you.
Well done.